Hi guys, I'm going to do a reading on Bill Gates today. I was just, I had the Eagles song, Lion Eyes, like come into my mind like 15 minutes ago, and I was like, okay, I'll listen to that song and see why. Like, and I was listening to the song, and I was like, okay, it's like, fairly pleasant, just kind of like walking down a country road kind of song. Like it's not super stressful. He's just like breaking it down why this girl is like a liar and like wants a sugar daddy or whatever. But I was like, this song's a bit long. Anyway, and then I checked the time and it's like 6 minutes and 21 seconds. 6 minutes and 21 seconds. So funny. It's like, he really didn't want to do any editing on that song. It's like, I want to say exactly why this woman is a liar. And I'm not going to finish until I'm done describing why. Anyway, it's funny. It's the difference between the 70s and now, I guess. Is that a 70s song or 80s song? It's probably like, I don't even know. It's probably like super late 70s. I'm gonna guess. I don't know. Because the musicianship is like too basic to be early 70s. Because like any like really good, any kind of hit song when I was a kid had to have like an insane guitar solo that took up a good like third of the song. So the basicness of the Eagles gets it closer into the 80s. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But clearly it was also a time when people had a tolerance for crazy long songs. So that would be like late 70s. Anyway, the Eagles. It's like, Eagles is like a virus. Like it, you're just living your life. It sort of sneaks up into your system and messes with your head, and then I guess you have those antibodies for the rest of your life. Like you can't forget the lyrics, but it's not really like helping you. I don't know. Are you weaker because you heard the Eagles? Or did it strengthen you from challenging your system? I don't know. It's not like, oh my God, like I gotta see the Eagles play. It's not like Zeppelin or the Stones, or like, it's not like an event, let's say, but it's there. It's, if you've been around for decades, you've certainly heard them play on the radio a bunch of times. Oops. So I'm wondering, like, maybe what's the tie between Bill Gates and the Eagles? Maybe he can't hide his lying eyes. We shall see. Okay, just pulling some cards. And almost done. You guys can let me know what your favorite or most haunting Eagle song is. They kind of sound like demos, like, is Eagles yacht rock? It's like kind of in that zone where it's like, here's the song, we're just chilling over here, like, don't want to freak you out with this song, we're just here it is. It's not like the Beach Boys where it was like ridiculously thought over. Maybe like the songwriter of the Eagles was like the youngest child in the family, and they didn't really have to like put in that much effort to get recognized within the family, and then in their adulthood they also didn't have to try so hard. I don't know. It's something to think about. Okay, so we have like a whole bunch of cards, so we will start thinking about this subject of Bill Gates, the energies. I really get like a jumble. Okay, let me just try to word this correctly. It's like a jumble of energies and like communication kind of curveballs that he's sending out, and they're like not necessarily like true, but they're meant to like sort of cause a disturbance or break up an existing strategy of like how people are living, like an instigator. I don't feel that he has like a perfect master plan, but he loves to like stir shit up, as it were. Kind of like a kid in the class who's just like throwing spitballs like during a really good lecture, and you're like, why? Like, stop doing that. Like, people turn around, just stop. But he like won't stop. Okay, and then what else? Let me just pick up what this is. I don't feel like he's a huge feminist. There's something to do with like feminine energy, like suppressing it. I guess that could have to do with like population control. So like if there's something that he has a hand in, it may have to do with like reducing fertility. I'm not getting like the nicest, like just to be clear, I'm not getting the nicest vibe from Bill Gates. Like, we're not going to compare him to Gandhi, or you know what I mean? Like, it's not like my life is world peace and I'm gonna starve until everybody understands that love is truth, or you know, that's not his vibe at all. Okay. But I do feel like his sort of Achilles heel is he's like really bad at like big picture stuff, and he's good at like little mini projects of like, yeah, let's do this, and it's kind of like the spitball of like, you know, deal with this kind of thing, like what he considers like an important news flash, but because he's sort of also like in an ivory tower of sorts, he doesn't have like perfect communication with the rest of the world, and so you can see him like out of touch because he is. And okay, just 1 second. I know. I just see him just writing like opinion pieces in the press and stuff, like moving forward. Like, the class has to keep an eye on this kid in the class who's throwing spitballs, and to not like let him drive the, you know, the family wagon to wherever random place that like isn't really perfectly thought out. Because if you're not a good-hearted person, you're gonna steer people down like a nasty road kind of thing. Like, I mean, so that's kind of like heavy duty energy. Like, I think people with like a proper sort of master plan will do better than he will. And I think he considers himself to be like cooler and better looking and all that stuff than he is. Like there's some inner work, inner recognition of, it's like know thyself. I don't feel like he really knows himself very well at all. It's just like, it's like he bought like a used Ford Fiesta and just like pedal to the metal, and he's just going like 80 in like a 30 zone through life, and just like being dangerous and not playing by the rules and not considering other people's safety. And he's just kind of like just gonna burn out this vehicle. Like he's not like topping up the oil or anything. He's just gonna burn out this vehicle, and it's kind of like Mad Maxing it through life. I haven't really watched Mad Max, so I don't know. Like I don't know if I'm. But anyway, just in terms of driving stuff, and so it's, that's like a criminal or something, like people who don't like people, who do stuff that's like unfortunate. That's the kind of vibe I get from him. I mean, I could just, sorry, I'm trying to do like side bangs from like straight, and it's a bit of a learning curve for me. Sorry if I'm like fidgeting with my hair. Yeah, so it happens that like some people that perhaps could qualify as like members of the prison population, like are not in prison for various reasons because they have like good lawyers or I don't know what, but you could sort of pencil him in if a person wanted to get their case together. And I kind of feel like sounds weird, but if you had like 50 really good lawyers banded together to create a case against him, I feel like there could be some success in that regards, because I feel like the trail he leaves behind is so messy that like it is possible to point something out and go like, this like sucks, and there can be some consensus, because like we have to act as a sort of human classroom and just go like, this guy's bullying us, like stop bullying us. Okay. I'm not doing personal questions right now. This is just a reading about Bill Gates. I'm just doing a celebrity reading right now. But if you guys want to book a reading or something like that, you can contact me through my website. On my website, I just list a healing session, but you can email me and we can talk about your needs and we can adjust it to whatever you want or whatever you can afford. Sometimes it's just you just want one question answered, or you just want me to send some healing to like bring you peace on some subject, or just whatever it might be. Okay, so we have this card, Dissolving Light. Yeah, again, I get this feeling of like him wanting to control like the feminine energy, the feminine reproductive energy. Like he's really obsessed with population control and being like putting these systems around women and reproduction that will limit their capacity to like have, the children they want or whatever. There's been efforts made, I feel like, in the last 15 years that have like been really impacting people's fertility and stuff because of projects he's directly been involved in. But I feel like it's possible to undo those if people sort of thought about like, okay, what exactly did he do? How did it impact people? How can we like remove those things so that that's not an issue anymore? I don't feel like in the long term it's a good project to like let him fiddle with human reproduction or health issues, because he's not coming from like a good place. It's like, you know how like you can study science and stuff, and then you have all this like weird knowledge of like manipulating genes or this or that, but it's like, was that really time well spent? Like, what are you gonna do with that anyway? So then there's all these people who want a job in this thing that they studied, and then they end up doing these projects that are kind of like questionable in terms of like the goodness of them, but like at the same time they want to like buy a house and car or what, like, you know what I mean? Like it's a bit sketchy. You know, people really have to think like, what am I doing at work today? Like, is this benefiting the world? Like, is this karma gonna like kick me in the butt like in 5 years, 30 years from now? You can't just be like on the human plane, not considering like, you know, the importance of peace and love and the fabric of your lives and stuff. Like you can't just be going to the lab, doing a weird experiment, coming home, drinking a beer and watching like a bad Netflix movie. Like it either has to be more in life that is like guided by like goodness. It's sort of like a surfer catching like a huge wave and just like, I'm not gonna like let this wave just tumble me. I'm gonna like with focus just go down the line and like have it be for like a good reason, you know what I mean? Like that's a weird like comparison, but focus is good, and intention, and like that you're gonna in general have a good life, you know. That's kind of what I'm getting. So these structures, you know, Bill Gates doesn't work alone, right? Like he hires companies, like there's a bunch of individuals that make up these systems, like these lines, and all of these people are able to like basically not do his bidding or challenge it, you know, and say like, well, I'm all for health, but let's do it in this way instead. Like I don't feel that he's like able to control like everyone. Like there's people, individuals who could easily just, you know, disagree with him or like change his course, because he can't like sit in his you know, mansion in Washington State and like do all this stuff. Like it's other people that are like doing his bidding. So like it's all these other people that need to be the ones to say like, sure, this guy's spouting off, but like we can control what we do with our time, and we don't need to like do this exact project. Yeah, it's like that classroom comparison I said before, where like you can't just let this guy spitball us all day, you know. And then we have the cosmic heart. Okay. Yeah, I feel like he's also like, he can really, he likes to argue, you know, and can say some unpleasant, like pointed, kind of bratty things in his conversation. He's just out of touch, you know, socially out of touch person. Just because you can like afford to like set up some kind of like lecture or, you know, get the press to come and cover it doesn't mean that your message is like superior to other people's. And I really think that like people need to just kind of make him in their mind like a regular guy and just go like, why is this regular guy doing this? Like, people, it's on the community to go like, I'm not gonna let you disrupt. It's like there's like a neighborhood dog who's like digging holes in everybody's yard, and it's like, okay, can we like figure out who's digging these holes, and maybe as a group we can like if that person can't afford to build a fence for their dog, let's group together and find a peaceful way to collect money and build a fence so this dog can just dig holes in the owner's yard. You know, we don't have to get mad about it, but we need to do something about it, you know, because it's like we can't have him like doing these programs that like, if, you know, if it's breaking people's hearts that they can't conceive, it's like, well, maybe there's something that's been put into the system where your fertility is being affected, and maybe if we look at that for a moment, we can figure out how that started and like remove that thing, like so that people can live the life that they want. And you know, it's like people will talk. It's like if you know someone is kind of like a bit toxic or the stuff they say is not that pleasant, you know, you don't have to take it to heart completely. It's just like that's how that guy deals with life, you know. And so I just kind of feel like he has a sort of an unpleasant demeanor, like a feeling superior, coming up with these ideas, and just because he can afford to implement them, it's kind of like just creating some disturbances that I don't feel are permanent, but they're annoying to people and their health and, you know, stuff like that. So it's just something for the community to get together and go like, let's just calmly lay all the cards on the table. Like, what did he do? Who did he hire? How did he do it? How long has it been going on? How did it affect people? Just really, you know, very organized way, like 50 lawyers, kind of like, let's just unpack this, present it to courts, and just say like, okay, can he stop doing this particular thing, please? Because it's not good, you know. And then he can like just go off into the sunset writing opinion pieces about like why he thinks he's right about this or that thing. I mean, you know, it's like you can have a family member that thinks they know how you should live your life, but it's like, you know, it's your life. So you kind of have to stand up to that stuff. So then we have the Seven of Pentacles. So I feel like he's used to just like hanging out and indulging. And that's his lifestyle. He's wanting other people to like balance their lives. Like he's imposing this kind of like limitations on other people. And he sort of is glamorizing like his position, like why he's doing it. Like he thinks he has a pretty high opinion of himself. And yeah, but like to the rest of the world, he looks kind of LLB, you know, kind of regular. Okay, then we have Judgment. So like people are kind of waking up and realizing like, what is this kind of bondage that's been put on us? We're not into it. Like help us, you know? And initially it might be through prayer, like, you know, help me figure this out. Like what's been going on? Like, why is my health bad? Or like, the only, like, if the logic of like the human world isn't bringing an answer, sometimes people pray, you know, or like it's like praying is like a nonverbal download of information. You're receiving energy, you know, that you don't totally understand, but that has like its own special logic to it, and then that can inform you to like go forth and make good decisions and stuff. So that's where people are at with him and his energy. Just 1 second. And let me look at this card. Wait, just wait. Okay. We have the Emperor. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so you see how like is that a sword? What is that? No, it's a staff. It's like a wand. So his like, he kind of, for lack of a better word, like kind of gets off in disrupting fertility. This sounds like weird, but I'll just say it because it occurred to me. He may have even like done like sperm donations, like to create like a mini like children or something. I don't know. Maybe at some point in his life he did. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just picking it up. Like, or if he's doing some experiments in a lab situation, maybe there's like many offspring. That's like weird. That's really weird. Not surprising, but weird. Okay. Okay. This is like, I feel like a bit of a science fiction movie script going on here. Okay. As I breathe deeply, I feel myself thrive. Thriving is as natural as breathing itself. By relaxing often and breathing deeply, your natural thriving is enhanced. So people are meant to like enjoy life and do well and be healthy and like, yeah. So maybe there's something to do with the air that he is affecting negatively so that people cannot thrive. Like with this like population, I feel like the population control is like a huge obsession of his. Like if he had the nuclear codes, he would probably not hesitate to use them. Kind of like he just selfishly wants there to be fewer people. I feel like so I don't know, like the combination of that and like his DNA being used maybe potentially to breed in a laboratory setting. I'm just gonna tell you what I pick up, and let's just say like this is for entertainment purposes only. You know, like no one paid me for this reading directly. Like I'm picking up these energies and telling them to you, and it is what it is. Okay. So when we have the Eight of Swords. I feel like Spirit is watching him like do these activities, and he's like, because he has more money, he's able to sort of build a bigger wall, as it were. Like if you look at Trump, like he was only able to make like little pieces of the wall between the States and Mexico, and it was like a massive failure, waste of time, like just in every way, like bad diplomacy, bad, like just everything bad, you know, and stupid. And because it didn't work, it didn't get finished, like for all these reasons. Like I'm not teaching you anything here. It's obvious. So but in the case of Bill Gates, like he has more money, so he's able to stack more bricks. And so Spirit is watching him do this and then like sort of fight these bricks in his own mind, because he's like living in this ivory tower where it's like and people, because there's like 4 swords behind him, and 4 swords is like relax, like stop for a moment and meditate. It's like the rest of the world wants him to like just relax and meditate for a moment and like cut out, like stop attacking stuff. And they're just kind of like, when's he gonna wear himself out? This is stupid. And then like there will not always be like, he won't always be alive, and he'll just sort of be this footnote of like this destructive dude who with money creating this sort of hubris situation. And so spirit sees the whole picture, and Bill Gates in this case is just looking like at one brick and attacking this one brick, and they're like, spirit can see like how it began, how it played out, how it ended, kind of thing. And it's just gonna look like this sort of faulty construction on a grander scale than like Trump's wall, Then we have the Priestess of Discs. Okay. So I feel like the older generation is sort of obsessed with like, people who like believe everything they're told. So there's people like that who like when they watch the news, they're like, yeah, that's right. Like, and then there's younger people on the internet who are like, exchanging ideas in a more organic way, or it's not just like the message delivered from the top is then like ingested by the public, or what, like the older generation is like that, where they believe everything they're told because they're given these symbols of like on TV or whatever. And then like the new generation's kind of like, like I don't think so. Like they're more interested in and fascinated by nature. It's kind of like how right now there's whole emerging interest in mushrooms and health benefits and how mushrooms communicate, and like even in that movie like Avatar is like root system of mushrooms and all that stuff. It's like the younger generation is fascinated with like sort of nature's built-in superior technology, as opposed to like robots and AI, like all that like kind of 1960s sort of mentality, 1930s, 60s kind of image of the future. But then there's the younger generation's image of the future is like embracing what is, authenticity instead of an imposition of another reality. Like I kind of feel like, as a side note, like if Elon Musk wanted to slim down his projects, I would argue that like the making people bionic project is his weakest thing, like long term. And if Bill Gates is like dropping some coins in that project, like there's your first sign that it's not like maybe a good project, right? Okay. And we have the Prince of Swords. I don't know why, like I'm getting this, like, I don't know if I'm actually smelling this in here, if I'm just sort of, it's coming to me as a thought that's strong, but like I'm smelling this kind of wood smoke. I mean, I do live near like a place that cooks with that, but I don't know how it would like seep into my house because it's like winter and the doors are closed and stuff. But it's like, yeah, I'm just getting that sense again of like his isolation, like, that he would maybe be in front of like a wood fire and just kind of think into these plans and stuff but he doesn't like spend enough time with people to really like be compassionate and I don't know. It's just like, okay, let me just sit with that for a second. I don't want to like just dance over it for a second. Yeah, I feel like he overestimates his sort of like oracle, like his sort of predictive qualities and stuff. Like, if his decisions are based in fear, that's your first sign that he's like way off, because the universe is not constructed out of fear. It's 100% unconditional love. And so if you're operating on a system of fear, you're 100% going in the wrong direction. Like, it's not going to work in the long run, because it's like you're trying to create a Hoover Dam against like truth, and it's eventually the dam will break, so why? But some people just like being bossy and like throwing that spitball into the world, maybe they weren't raised well, or who knows why, like they just lack that capacity to have an interplay with like unconditional love and stuff. It's interesting, like if you back up and just think about the arc of someone's life, like in terms of learning and growth as a person, just because someone's rich doesn't mean they've achieved some sense of purity or wisdom, So we have the Prince of Swords. Yeah, I just feel like he likes watching himself on TV, kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just telling you what I see. Okay. I think he feels like there's a certain group of people that are famous, and he's in that club, like in this cloud that's encircling some stars. But that's not the truth, and I get chills saying this. Like, literally everyone's soul is just as important and brilliant as another. And this kind of false grouping of like, these are the best ones, is like comically wrong. And like, it's those people who put themselves above that are gonna look like fools, either now or later. It's kind of like when COVID hit, right? And all these famous people who were like so desperate for their face to be seen again, like came up with reasons why they could like make some videos or like singing songs together and whatever, I don't know, whatever else they were doing to like still grab that attention. But it didn't play well, right? People are just like, shut up. Yeah, and I feel like he feels like he's running in like a higher circle than other people, but he's straight up wrong. Like, we're all in this world together. We're all one being, and he's like living in this false dream where he thinks he's like on another level, and he's part of this group of people that like have these like expensive catered parties and stuff. I don't know, but it's like a false reality. It's interesting. Okay. I mean, I expected a bit of energy like this, but it's really like pretty clear and stronger than I thought. Okay. Then the King of Wands is the next card. Oh, okay. I feel like he's messing around. Some of his projects and stuff are messing around, like in on the continent of Africa, and also like India. If you compare Bill Gates to like a historical figure who waged war on a grand scale in terms of like his negative impact or implementing like different rules, different processes, like people could view him as a negative kind of imposter in these other cultures and stuff. But I do feel like it's possible, like I was saying before, it's possible that like people who are defenders of nature, if you think of nature and the world as a human being, like a not a human, but like as a living being, and that she needs to be protected. I feel like there's enough people in the world that feel that way about the earth that can be stronger than whatever kind of implementations he's trying to do and around the world, specifically Africa, India. I feel like people and nature can win this battle, but it's like people need to like keep cool heads about it, just get all the facts organized, get people who like lawyers and stuff who understand what is deemed as correct in the eyes of the law, and to put a cap on his ability to like create like weird programs, some secret, some not so secret. And I feel like this is like kind of a weird idea, but like I kind of feel like if Bill Gates is like using his DNA to like create other beings in an experimental fashion, his estate will be sued for like support because those are like actual children of his and stuff. So, you know, he might think that his like legacy will live on and on and on, but like if he's like creating these other family members through science, that money will be divided and used to live their lives out, and that kind of money legacy thing will not be long lasting. This is like really weird reading, but here it is. Okay, then we have the Ten of Wands. Okay, so this is kind of like him carrying his money, the sort of gold nuggets and whatever. They're coming from various different projects. I don't even feel like the computer aspect of his life like it's not where all of his money comes from. Like there's some other things like land ownership and other stuff that's bringing him just as much money as like Microsoft or whatever. He likes to diversify. That's what I'm saying. And but it's sort of like this black cloud of money is sort of raining down on him. Like it doesn't feel like a positive. It doesn't feel like any of the things are really positive. And he's doing this in a positive world, acting in a way that is selfish and confusing to the regular person. But I feel like there's a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge in terms of law, science, whatever, who to them it's very clear what he's doing. And it's those people that need to do something about it, make it right, lead from their heart, and like, and in a way that's like loving the earth. Like we can't just like treat the earth like shit and then like fly to Mars and be like bye, you know, like that's not how it works. And then we have the Two of Hearts. I feel like he has like an active like sex life. Like that's something that's important to him and regular, like from this card I'm seeing. And he likes his like wine. It looks like, you know, like he might have expensive taste in regards to that, but nonetheless. And like there might be a bit of like you know, bedroom theatrics in terms of like like he's enjoys being a bit dominant, not like to the max, but like enough to mention it. And he's like highly secretive about that part of his life. And if you know, I feel like he's like married, whatever. But there's it's just like you know, like not. So there's some secrets there. Okay. And then we have the Ten of Hearts. Okay. I don't feel like he like expresses love like to other people well, but like to him it matters a lot, you know. It gives him a lot of like support, and it's sort of like a, let's say if he's not a spiritual person, he gets that energy like sort of vampirically from someone who's like giving him energy and attention. And so he sort of thrives on getting that energy and attention that he considers to be love. But like some people like getting shit paid for. Like there's part of that reason, like why they're in his life. And they're just kind of like this grandma in the corner clapping her hands, just like, good job, all right. Like they can like just enough to make him feel good. But like what he gives back is kind of this very dry, like it's kind of like a person that doesn't really understand what love is, but they know it's like, okay, so it's Valentine's and I'm supposed to give you flowers and chocolate. All right, here it is. Kind of, but there's not like that, like, oh my God. Like, there's no like spiritual element to it, I feel. But he feels accomplished in the fact that he's had these like circumstances in his life where he feels fulfilled. All right. And then we have the Star. And again, I feel this message about the earth coming up. He's trying to impose this temporary logic upon the earth and health and like fertility and all that stuff. And the earth is kind of tired and just like, why? You know, it's like if earth had like a relationship for a time with an abusive partner and they're just kind of like worn out, but that doesn't diminish their beauty and potential and everything else. They're just like exhausted from having an unhealthy dynamic with someone. And so I feel like as much as Bill Gates might be involved in, like have some esoteric knowledge or whatever, it's not the type that is like positive or life-giving, and it's more like control manipulation type stuff, and that stuff's super temporary and has a built-in like I'm gonna kick you in the ass like by the universe karma stuff. So he's just like playing out this life on a grand scale that will be obvious to everyone in time. He will not be celebrated as like a great and wonderful person like Muhammad Ali or something. it would be more like a cautionary tale, or a tale of like hubris and ego and stuff like that. So then we have strength, fortitude. Yeah, I feel like with people's passion about saving the earth and having things function the way Earth wanted it to, which means like not this sort of scientific intervention style, and more appreciating. It's like if you're in a relationship with someone, you could have a toxic relationship or a healthy one. A toxic one is where you're exerting control, you're being codependent, manipulative, unappreciative, right? That's sort of like his model. Living on Earth is like codependent, unhealthy. Or you could have a healthy relationship where you're like, I love you as you are, I appreciate you, the gratitude, seeing things as they are, like healthy, right? So I feel like the way forward is gratitude towards the earth, and instead of this notion of manipulating it, to just keep expanding our knowledge of how perfect it is and working with that. And I get like a really strong energy when I say that. So yeah, like, you know how like when we look back in time, like certain periods of time seem like comically off center, you know? This will be one of those times where it's like, oh my God, it's so like 2020, like when Bill Gates did A, B, and C to try to control the earth and whatever, you know? It'll seem comically ridiculous and temporary. Okay. Then we have the Nine of Swords, the Lord of Despair and Cruelty. So I feel like I said before, he likes to argue. He likes to like disrupt. He likes to throw that spitball in class. He's used to arguing. That's like how he thinks the world works. And so that's what he does. Disagrees, throws like spitballs into stuff, and just that's his MO, you know. Then we have the Three of Wands. Yeah, I feel like, you know, he has control over some stuff, but it's fairly limited. It's on a big scale, but they're fairly limited. Like his ability to actually make changes depends upon people mindlessly following him. So as long as people aren't thinking about like questioning him or his impact on things, he will still have control over these like sort of three wands. But like it's pretty easy for people just to go like, no, you know, I thought about it and actually no. Yeah. Then we have father, husband, brother, son, Osiris. I feel like the masculine energy of like here in this card, like that is represented by Osiris, is actually like our ideal version of masculinity. A kind of like beautiful, supportive, strong leadership, like bravery, compassion, like all, like there's just like all these positive notions of what masculine could be, I'm kind of sensing right now. And I don't feel that like he's in touch with this. And it's like this exists, like positive masculinity exists, you know, and it's not just a concept, it's like how things work, you know. So he might do well to like understand what, like in this case, like Osiris represented this strength, this non-toxic masculinity exists as an energy in the world, and it's gonna win. It's gonna influence a certain direction, and it's gonna win over like stupid toxic masculinity. Again, I feel that sense of like whatever Bill Gates is doing is fairly temporary, and it's gonna like there's gonna be some kind of like fallout for the stuff that he's done, and it will result in his foundation and whatever legacy he's trying to build will get sort of divided up by various people in his life, or that he like, or if he had like extra children or whatever, like it's gonna be just in a warehouse getting sorted out and divided and call it a day, like the sun rises the next day and we're not dealing with his vibe anymore. Then we have what is the 10 card? Okay, I'm not gonna stress over that. Is it like death or something? So I'll let you look at this card for a second. To the people writing in the live chat, I'm not doing personal readings right now. I'm just doing a reading on Bill Gates. But if you want to contact me, I'm available through the link in my website and stuff. I feel like there's someone close to him in his life that knows a lot of his secrets, and they're really trying to be quiet about it because they know like either they've signed like an NDA or there's kind of just suffering, like how knowing this stuff that they're not happy with, and they're trying to kind of close their eyes and just enjoy their glamorous lifestyle, but they actually know some stuff that is unfortunate, that should be talked about, should be seen. I feel like, how like Bill Gates is like a computer guy. So I feel like anyone in his life that wants to like put a message out to reveal something, they obviously can't do it on computer. They would have to write it down, pen and paper, and like hand deliver it to somebody else, who then hand delivers it to somebody else. Like it would not be emailed. Okay, and then I get this card, the 10 of Pentacles, like having it all. I feel like when I look at this card, it's like Earth is telling me like I'm gonna win. And that like whatever Bill Gates is doing is just gonna be these like buttons that fell off in the process of Earth surviving, thriving, gaining good energy. I feel like there's enough good-willed people in the world that are like in a supporting the Earth's energy type of feeling, that it's like the tides have turned. Whatever kind of like outdated control systems that were kind of like that sort of post-war vibe of like, let's make all those people, these like urban planners and stuff, like making suburbs and making places without a town square and isolating people. It's like Operation Paperclip, like taking some like bad ideas and implementing them in the United States in terms of media, population control, like negative systems that are fear-based, that are not like Earth consciousness based. that stuff is gonna seem tired and old, and like the earth, I feel like the earth is gonna win, which I like to see that. Okay, then there's this card. Yeah, again, I feel like there are a lot of people that work for him that could speak out and just they have as much power as he does. They just need to speak out, like, together, to just go like, yeah, but no, you know. Okay, then we have the Queen of Wands. Or is it the King of Wands? Okay. Okay. It's yeah, it's like this passion. He's like letting out his passion and like sort of attacking the smaller guy, you know. Kind of like an out of control kid. You know that amazing show Nanny 911 that is like if you have children and you're struggling with some issue or other, just watch all the episodes of Nanny 911 and you'll be good. Like that should be taught like to everyone. They're like masters. What? Okay, no. I'm not gonna do that. So okay. Yeah, so sort of this like out of control child, like unleashing their passions on people who cannot fight against it. Yeah. But like if we decide like as a unit to not be victimized by this system, whatever system is in place, whether it's like a ecological, you know, political, whatever, just like a matter of like getting up, distancing yourself from this imminent danger, you know, and like grouping together and just saying like Nanny 911, like the British nanny comes in and is like, no, like in a nice way, but like in a legal way. Like that's not how we do things in this house. Then we have the Two of Cups. So I feel like there's like the Bill Gates that he presents to the world, and then there's like the actual Bill Gates, you know, like, and he feels like they're one and the same, but they're really two different energies working together, kind of thing. So like someone might meet him and go, oh, I thought he was a really nice guy. But it's like, yeah, but then he'll turn around and do this other thing that's not good for the earth or for people. And it's like will the real Bill Gates please stand up kind of thing. So it's kind of like, you know, you can't just let the kid throwing the spitballs keep doing that. It's like, you know, we need to keep our classroom sane so we can all learn and have a good day, you know, like we can't just let someone be like acting tricky. You know, it's kind of like Trump. It's like people trying to like impeach him a couple of times and just be like, no, like that's not how we do stuff. Like it's not like, you know, we don't solve problems by inciting riots and being like bossy and negative. That's not how we solve problems. Like if you imagine like if Donald Trump was like living in your house, like he would not be like a good member of the household. Like he'd be like, you're stupid because you made like the wrong meal or like what, or like I'm so great, you know, I should have the biggest room, like whatever kind of stupid stuff you would say. If you think of like these public figures as like living in your house, sitting at your table and stuff, like they're not acting right, you know. And we need 911 to come over and be like, like, I don't think so. Okay, then we have Herkimer dreams. I'm constantly manifesting my dreams into reality. So like people need to just understand like we're all equally powerful in truth. We're all connected. If we're careful about where we put our energy and what we want for the future, if we just sort of set it at love, like on lock, good things will happen. Like things will go in a good direction, you know, instead of fear-based stuff. Sunstone, empowerment. I'm empowered in all areas of my life. So people need to realize like you have the power of your intention and your attention like yields results. So if you're just like saying to yourself every day, I'm helpless against this monster, then you're just affirming that to be true. But if you're like, these are things I value in my life about other people, and like I appreciate the earth, like if you're setting your intention and your attention to that, then that's gonna like have your battery like filling it up, you know. Then we have the chrysotile, power animal. My power animal supports, guides, and loves me throughout my life. Yes, so if you're making alliances with like nature, animals listen to nature and follows nature's cycles. It's like they're obedient children to it, you know. If you ally yourself on that side of things instead of like fear-based, science experiment-based kind of stuff, that's the long-term plan that works, you know. So power animal, like this crystal is like reminding you that you have power animals and animals that guide you and give you messages. And so it's like take the time to tune into that stuff so that you're not getting all your information from the TV or like what so and so said today, whatever, you know. Okay, and then I'll just do these last 3 cards and then we'll be done. So we have the Hierophant. So there's like these longs. I feel like the Vatican and like Bill Gates and like there's some groups of people that have power, money, influence that are like trying to take things down a certain road that is control based, like a negative relationship based structures. Like it's all fine and good to believe that like the universe is there and loves you and supports you and whatever. It's quite another thing to build like a golden palace and, you know, make nuns give you like all their money and expected money and property so that they can like do your bidding. I don't know, like there's some issues in like the structure of the Catholic Church that are, I would say, not love based, you know. I'm not the first person to point that out. Okay. So if we don't busy ourselves too much with like the details of like how these people are structuring our lives, and we just put our attention to like what is good about the earth, and like we don't really give them our time as much, our effort, our money, these systems can't really function without that. So it's like think for yourself. But think for yourself while you're appreciating the earth as it is, appreciating yourself as you are, and that there's not like this need to like put a chip in your mind so that you can like know Korean in like 3 minutes or lift like a car with your extra strength or whatever, like bionic skill that like Elon Musk wants to put a chip in your head to achieve or whatever like that. Like this kind of these systems that are, it's kind of like Bill Gates and Elon Musk are a bit like playing, is the game called Jenga or something? Like where you like have a bunch of sticks and you build kind of like your Tower of Babel kind of thing, and like it works or it falls apart or whatever, but they just like playing Jenga. Like, and so like, we just need to like give them a bag of marshmallows to stack instead so nobody gets hurt. Like, here, you're like playing with these systems and stuff. Like, can we give you some, like a soft toy instead? Then we have the sun card. All right. I feel like if people can really see, if this is like people, if people can really look Bill Gates in the face and go like, who is this guy and what has he done? Like really dryly, A, B, C, D, E, F. Instead of getting like caught up in like, oh, he's so rich, or oh, he's like, but whatever fluff information is around that, like just get super dry on it. Like, who is he? What's he been doing? Let's just like sort it out. Is he affecting my life? Is he affecting my neighbor's life? Is there someone I know that became like infertile because of some system he put in place, or so, like, what's he up to? Let's look at that. He's in our community. He's in our like house. He's sitting at our table. Like, let's deal with it. Let's nanny 911 this thing. Okay, then we have the Ten of Swords. Okay. Yeah, I feel like sort of people, so many like terrible situations have happened that like people are kind of like done with it. Like, we're done getting stabbed in the back by these situations and things that have been implemented. To the point where we're just like, why are we letting this guy do all this stuff? We need like a brand new start. We need to start fresh with like a vision of like, life is good. The earth is good as it is. It functioned without us. And we're here right now, like, but the earth will go on, and our like little disruptive moment, like, it's not gonna ruin the earth. But like, can we act more responsibly while we're alive and have a lighter step on the earth and not need to have so much stuff? And can we enjoy this sort of synergy with the earth, like looking at that again? Can we have a little more control over our passions and calm down, but understand that our passions are real and powerful? But like, can we manage them with maturity so that we can have like a fulfilling life? Like, we don't need to be hoarders or whatever. Like, what's essential to a happy life? Like healthy relationships, fertility, and having a place on earth to celebrate. I feel like some younger people who aren't perfect also might come forth with this message, like, we got to change things in this way or that way. It's like, don't need human beings to be perfect in their message. it's like, it means that there's new energies coming in to be like, hey, it's kind of like Ronan Farrow or something, where he doesn't like represent everybody, but he's just coming in and going like, hey, this thing is like effed up. Let's look at it. And we don't have to like shoot the messenger, as it were. Like, we can just go like, yeah, good point. I'm not going to obsess over you, your history, like where you're from, whatever. But it's like, yeah, like another sort of raindrop of like, hey, like addition of like, there's this idea we should think about. And then we have the moon card, like maybe about things that we considered to be secret or behind the scenes. But maybe they really weren't, because like individuals were working on them. Like I said, like Bill Gates doesn't work alone. He has tons of staff doing his bidding, and like all those people know stuff. So it's not really secret, is it? Like, it's not. So everything can kind of be looked at in a sensible way in legal terms to sort of unpack what's not working, in that regard, and people needing to like feel that they have equal power in the world. Like it's the truth. Okay. And then we have the Four of Wands, because like in the rubble of like different attempts of control, different ways, like, like the royal family or whatever, like different structures of people trying to dominate. That's going to be like history pretty soon. Like, I don't really see like the British royal family like continuing for much longer as it is. We're at the point where like secrets can come out so easily. It used to be like in the, back when I was a kid, or like before the internet, you could go lifetimes without like stuff getting healed or fixed or found out, or oh my gosh, like everything was so slow. It was ridiculous. And now it's like, if there's some secret to be told, it can be told in like a hot second. So there's this like new reality that's occurring where people need less to have a good life, and these old structures are just, that's not how it's not individual families that are gonna, or like the Vatican or whatever, that are gonna like dominate the world. It's like everyone's connected now, and that's what is going to create this like new format for life. It's about our agreement. It's like your opinion, my opinion, and the garland of like peace that hangs between those things. Like there's this consensus more than dominance by like one person. And then we have the Knight of Cups. I don't know if somebody else wrote a comment about getting a personal reading, but this is just about Bill Gates. Okay, I'm almost done. So we have the Knight of Cups. I feel like he never gets tired of like seeing himself on TV, or like presenting something, or cutting like a ribbon at a factory, or whatever it might be. I feel like there's all these like people in the background watching, and he's just like, check me out. Like, look how good I'm being. Look what my foundation brought us, or whatever. Like, if it's not based in consensus and like perfect melding with like the earth consciousness, it's like a bullshit operation, is what I feel. This kind of ego hubris stuff is getting really tired. Okay, then we have the High Priestess. I feel like everything's like written down. Any detail we need to know about what's been going on what he's up to is traceable. People, it's easy for people to like gather it together in a relatively behind the scenes manner, just to collect all that information. It's kind of like she's holding the Torah, and I feel like all that information is like there because he's not working alone. Like there's people doing his bidding, and all those people can collectively get together, get lawyers to like sort it out, and just like if there's something stupid that's going on, like it can be revealed and dealt with as it should be, as just like if we go back to that classroom model that I talked about, where if Bill Gates is the kid in the back of the class throwing spitballs, the class needs to get together and go like, we don't like it when people are throwing spitballs, so we are going to collectively say to him like, you can't do that, and put the structures in place that like he doesn't have the tools to make spitballs anymore. And those spitballs might be like messing with people's reproductive systems, and through his like so-called good efforts, through his foundation, like maybe there's some stuff that's not actually good that's going on there. And you know, maybe he needs to take a chill pill and not feel like he needs to prance through the world like saying like, look at me. So he would be like reduced to just writing like opinion pieces and sending them into newspapers and stuff, like just like minimizing things that don't completely resonate with like universal love and the planet. And so like I hope that people who already feel an allegiance with the planet and how things are, understanding that, and like scientists who like love how the planet and our bodies like already work naturally, and to just get into like gratitude, appreciation, like that's more expansive than control notions that are like, control notions are like lasers, and gratitude is like fractally open and interesting. So you know, there's an onus on people that work for him, there's an onus on scientists and teachers of science to just go like, to kind of feel like what is right, and to follow their conscience instead of just like doing something awful because someone paid you. Yeah. All right, so that's my reading. It's like it was like, I wish I had happier news in regards to that guy specifically, but that's what came up in the reading. And anyway, so if you guys have an idea of someone, a celebrity or a well-known figure, or like a situation in the world that you want me to do a tarot reading on, let me know in the comments. And I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.